Just let your soul glow.
Ew. Not the intimate tunes.
That's all I got in me this week. Hi. Hell you. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Pretty Petty Podcast. I am Mercedes.
And I'm Mira.
Welcome back. How are you doing this week, Mira?
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm finally not tired, but it took a lot of sleep to get there.
I bet if we went through and looked at how many times the word tired has appeared in the first 30 seconds of the podcast, it's probably all 17 episodes.
Literally.
I'm right there with you. I'm tired too. Yeah, so there's a lot on the docket this week. Apparently a lot of shit went down and people don't know how to act no more.
When have they ever known how to act?
I feel I don't know. I feel since COVID, humans are on a different
wavelength.
Biological level. We've regressed to prehistoric dinosaur ages.
Damn.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
Now, I've been saying as a society we've regressed, or we're regressing in every way, but damn, not all the way back there. I was giving it 1960s.
Honestly, people were probably better back then before they learned about race and had gender roles and stuff like that. It's probably better back then, honestly.
They probably I feel like as long as we're human, somebody's gonna find something to be prejudiced or some reason to exclude somebody. Something have you ever seen that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where he wished that everybody could be the same and everybody was a gray blob? Mm-mm. And they still found a way in that episode to segregate and separate. So I don't know if it's human nature, but it's definitely it'll be something. It's always something.
Should we go ahead and get into the mess this week?
Let's get into the mess.
All right. So starting off this bullshit this week.
Oh, Lord.
Congress doing such a great job over there in Washington. Looking after... Hold up. Before I get into this, because I'm going to forever be mad about the TikTok ban. But have you heard about 23andMe?
No. What about that?
Girl!
What?
Okay, so 23andMe is that ancestry DNA testing kit that you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I only found out about this, again, through TikTok. 23andMe, the CEO of 23andMe, has sold the entire catalog of DNA to China for $40 billion.
Excuse me?
Everybody's fucking DNA for $40 billion to China.
Oh, my God.
But TikTok is big.
Oh, my God. Yo,
I was like, okay, well, TikTok, I don't trust what you're saying. I Googled it, NPR, all these websites, record-breaking $40 billion deal. And as someone who has done 23andMe, I don't like this at all.
I feel wild because I'm like, oh no, my dad was right, because this is some type of shit my dad would say. Because for years we would, I'd ask why don't we do the ancestry? And I don't want them people to have our information that take it and sell it. And I'm like, damn. So now I got to be like, hi, Dad. You was right. Did you see this?
When I did it, I knew that this was probably going to happen, but I didn't care. I wanted answers. So I was I'm willing to roll the dice. It is what it is. So what, they're going to know I'm lactose intolerant, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Honestly saying.
But Congress sucks balls. And this week,
oh my God,
it did become a little bit entertaining. So Congress was convening and being professional. And during a discussion about whether Attorney General Merrick B. Garland should be held in contempt of Congress, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, aka this fucking Karen Wingbat looking bitch.
Oh my God.
She's racist as fuck. I'm not gonna spare no punches on this hoe. She is she said to Jasmine Crockett, who is a Democrat from Texas, she said, I think your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're reading. A low blow attacking this woman's appearance in Congress. Keep in mind, they got court reporters and shit in there. Everybody's in there watching. It's going to be memorialized in history forever. So in response, Representative AOC Alexandria Ocasio, I don't know if that's how you say it, in Cortez, from New York. Yes. She leapt to Ms. Crockett's event. She said, how dare you attack the physical appearance of another person? And then Miss Crockett was like, no, 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 no. I got this, sis. I got it. And boy, did she have it. She said she low-key returned the insult by asking the chair of Congress, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built, butch body, that would be engaging in personalities, correct? Can we talk about the alliteration?
That shit sounds like a tongue twister when you try to, every time I try to say it, I get tongue twisted, so I stop trying to say it.
I was like, this is poetry.
She ate her up, and I don't know. This shit like that is why I feel like to be racist is to be in a constant state of delusion, because how that woman wake up looking like that and think she could try to talk down on somebody's appearance in such a way? Like, why are you taking... And you could tell by the way she said it that bitch has probably been sitting on that for months. Like, yeah, with her fake eye. Like, what? Why are you taking... This is supposed to be a professional setting. Yep. And you choose to take jabs at someone's appearance and then try to play victim when, you know, the woman defends herself and spins it back on you. That's pretty typical. Can't say... You know, I haven't experienced that. Have you experienced shit like that?
I don't know why. Now that I know that she's from Texas, all I have is, now what you know about them Texas girls? I'm sorry. Have I experienced someone attacking my appearance? Is that what you said?
No, what I mean is people playing victim or people attacking you and then playing victim when you bite back.
Throwing rocks and then hiding their hands.
Yeah. That's the story of my life. That's all people do to me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I actually am hard pressed to find a situation where I've had conflict with someone in the last 10 years where that hasn't been the case. Where it's like, okay, you're mentioning something that how I made you feel, not something that I did. Let's talk about what you actually did. But no, they want to talk about that. They want to talk about how they feel. But let's talk about the actual actions of a person. I said this thing, you took it this way, and then rather than talking to me about it, you retaliated. But you don't want to own up to your consequences because of your reaction to something that I said. Girl, bye. So to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, the way I want to call the episode that.
And the dude, I don't know his name. Did you see the man holding in his laugh?
That was the best part.
He was like, I was like, now he in here about to laugh. That's probably the most fun this nigga had in about 30 years. Oh my God.
Fool was literally holding his hands over his mouth like he was fucking giggling. Like, I don't like these can't be the adults that are running the country. It can't be.
I just feel like it's a sign of the times and a sign that the world is crumbling around us, that even the most quote unquote respectable institutions, they're not, like, everybody's tired of trying to hold up this facade. There's too much shit going on and nobody has time to be playing these games. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like what that lady said was very unnecessary. And I feel like she probably sat on that she been sitting on that.
I just want to say, shout out to homegirl from Texas. You represented well. A+ for the alliteration. You fucking ate that bitch up and left not a nary a crumb. I wish you nothing but success and endless orgasms in your future, because that shit was funny as fuck to me. Well, it was funny.
She made merch.
But also concerning. But I feel like it's preparing us for the fuckery of the election season.
What's to come. Yeah.
How dirty it's gonna get. Anyway, let's move on to slightly more happier news. Billie Eilish. Well, happy for me because I love Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish came out with her album 2 days ago. And the album was called, I think it's called Hit Me Hard and Soft.
What?
And
type of freak bitch? What?
So Billie Eilish is letting y'all know that she munches carpets and she been about that life for at least a year. That's what she's letting y'all know.
Oh, that's what it's about? The cooter nanner?
Yes. So one of the songs, because she had sung this at Coachella, and I had talked about this briefly before. I just want to read a little bit of the lyrics to this song. I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she dances on my tongue. Tastes like she might be the one. And I could never get enough. I could buy her so much stuff. It's a craving, not a crush, huh?
Some
Call me when you're there.
Shit.
Said I bought you something rare and I left it under Claire. Now she's coming up the stairs and I'm pulling up a chair and I'm putting up my hair. And then the verse is talking about, baby, I think you were made for me. Somebody write down the recipe. Been trying hard not to overeat. You're just so sweet. I'll run a shower for you like you want. Clothes on the counter for you. Try them on. If I'm allowed, I'll help you take them off. Huh. But
that
hold
girl
on.
in love.
She is. She said, I got a taste of the poof cha. My favorite is definitely she's taking pictures in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, her skin's so clear. Tell her, bring that over here. You need a seat? I'll volunteer. Now she's smiling ear to ear. She's the headlights. I'm the deer.
Oh wow.
I was like, okay, Billy. So
Let that girl in love.
I don't think this is a love song. I think this is very much
It's lusty.
cunnilingus, talking about lesbian sex as an afternoon meal. It's definitely like her boldest song that I've ever heard from her. And I saw like an interview that she did talking about, because she writes her songs with her brother. And so she was
How did that go?
Like,
oh my God.
She was like, am I really gonna go here? She's like, yeah, but she has straight girls all over TikTok questioning everything, every decision they ever made. And people were pulling up like an old video of her talking a couple of years ago about how she's not gay. People keep asking her if she's gay. And she's like, she thinks women are beautiful, but she can't picture putting a vagina in her face, were her words. I guess times have changed. We've all grown. We've all learned the benefits of the vitamins, the vitamin makeup of pussy. Probably got a lot of vitamin C.
No vitamin C in the cooter.
But have you heard any of the music yet?
I have not. I literally just saw a tweet about her releasing an album today. So yeah, I didn't know.
I just think it's so interesting seeing like how young artists today are so open about their sexuality. Well, at least the females are more open about their sexuality. Like when I think about her and like JoJo Siwa, Demi Lovato, like all them people who are like openly living their lives. And I'm like, this shit wouldn't have happened when I was in like high school. Pop stars was not coming out like that. Okay. So good for you, Billy. I haven't listened to the whole song, the whole album, but I will. Next up, we had back-to-back fuckery stories.
It is a lot of fuckery this week.
Do you want Caucasian fuckery right now, or do you want African-American fuckery right now?
I normally I would say fuckery of the Negro variety, but I'll take the Caucasian fuckery for $300, Alex.
Goddamn. All right. So this past week, Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker made a commencement speech at Benedictine College. And during this speech, he proceeded to have a 20-minute tirade where he denounced abortion rights, Pride Month, COVID-19 lockdowns, the tyranny of diversity, equity, inclusion. At this, the school is a Catholic liberal arts school in Kansas. So we're not talking about like
20 minutes.
It was 20 minutes. The part that everyone seems to be talking about, though, is his comments about women being homemakers. So he said, quote, I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here about to cross the stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into the world. He basically goes on to talk about how women have a responsibility and how the greatest fulfillment a woman can have essentially is to be a wife and a mother. And there's been an update to this because don't forget, like this fool right here is teammates with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Word is they don't fuck with him though, but that's what the word on the street is. This man is 28, by the way. He's not like 21 or nothing like that. He's had some years. But the nuns who work at this college, they released a statement. They was like, you ain't gonna get us caught up in this fuckery. They said the sisters do not believe that Harrison Butker's comments in the commencement address represents the Catholic liberal arts college that our founders envisioned and in which we have been so invested in a Facebook comment. So they ain't fucking with it. Did you watch this speech?
I saw some of it and I cut it off because I was like, why would they allow him to come say this at a college to these people? Especially about the women, you know what I'm saying, staying at home and being moms and like what whose idea was it to ask his ass to come speak at that college? And then when somebody said, well, it's a Catholic I'm like, oh, okay, well.
This whole like rising campaign to get women to procreate, I hope y'all are paying attention. I hope y'all are seeing the things that are going around and how it really all like life in general comes down to pussy. Let's be clear. Everything in this world, I swear to God, comes back to what females have between their legs. And I'm just like, the fact that he made this speech at the beginning of these young people's lives, at the precipice of when they're actually going to start living, when they're most excited, they're most optimistic. The world is literally their oyster. The possibilities are endless. You want to clip the women's wings before they've even had a chance to figure out if they can fly. That's the wildest shit ever. The idea that you would...
Audacity.
That's like saying to somebody when they're getting a promotion, like, congratulations, you know, when you're quitting. Like, the fuck? Like, why would you do this at a commencement address? It makes no sense. I have heard nothing about this man losing endorsement deals. He's still on the team. Hasn't been fined as far as I know.
You know, dickheads get rewarded, so he might get a new sponsorship.
Do you think the same reaction would have like happened if he were black? Like, do you think if Kobe Bryant made this speech, it would go over this like this?
It would be different because there's a racial component to it, but I think people would still be upset, but it probably would actually affect his money.
What do you think about what he said?
I don't agree with anything he said. From what I did, like I said, I didn't watch all of it. I saw some of it and I closed it out. I was like, how did they allow him to say this? I just don't understand.
Did you say something about his mama?
I don't think he mentioned his mother from what I heard, but
I thought you said something about his mom because his mom is a physicist.
Yeah, so I don't think he mentioned his mother. At least from what I heard, he didn't mention his mother. But the conversation that I saw was that his mother is a physician. How you say it?
A physicist.
I'm about to say a physician. A physicist. And, you know, she's an accomplished career woman. So why would you be trying to encourage women to go in the opposite direction? And then the question became, do you resent your mother for the direction that she decided to take in her life? Because why? What is it? Yep. It just doesn't line up.
Maybe mommy wasn't home enough for him.
Yeah, that's what, you know, and he probably still feels a way about it because it just doesn't line up at all.
It's okay, baby. Let that hurt go. Let that hurt go. I wonder, somebody need to check on his wife, though. Because if that's how he talks about women in public, I can only imagine
what he's saying in private.
The tyranny that she must be allegedly under the roof behind closed doors. That's wild. I only have one other story that, you know, we've been putting off. Do you have any stories that you want to talk about?
Well, I have some stuff I found, some tea I found going on in the UK. Apparently, in the UK, Meghan Markle was named most hated celebrity, and I just don't get that. Like, that shit is weird to me. But she most said that celebrity According to Daily Mail, they weigh in on who's the sexiest man in the UK, and they voted for, or they ranked Jeremy Clarkson as the UK's sexiest man. Have you ever seen Jeremy Clarkson?
I've never heard the name before in my life.
Me neither. But I'm gonna send you this article so you can see what's going on here, because I kept seeing these posts on social media and I'm just like, what is
he looks like a sweet potato that's been peeled.
And apparently this is the second year in a row he was voted UK's sexiest man, and I'm trying to understand, like, what's the
he looks like the kind of man who would just walk around talking to young girls, asking how old they are. Like, he's not attractive. But to get back to Meghan Markle, They hate that girl because she's part black. That's all that it is. And it's just wild. It's just wild that I don't know who the source is in that article saying she's unbothered. I don't believe for a second that Meghan Markle is unbothered about how the UK feels about her. I feel like she has had a couple of documentaries or specials where she's talking about the trauma and the PTSD that she suffered because of how people treated her. And I mean, listen, I get it. I can't even imagine. So I don't buy that part of the article, but yeah, they really hate that girl and she has really done nothing. Same thing with like Amber Heard. Like what?
Yeah.
Because she was in a domestic violence situation with somebody and went on a trial and you happen to really like fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. Now
that's
you have to hate this girl.
Literally, that's all the fuck it is.
Is she British?
It's ridiculous. I don't know. That's another thing I was talking about. How many celebrities are British that like either I don't know or I forgot? They got Tom Holland on this list. He British too. Like I didn't.
Oh yeah, that nigga mad British. Yeah.
I keep forgetting because they, I feel like British actors are really good at nailing American accent. So when you watch them in movies, you don't really think of it until there's no movie and they're being interviewed on the red carpet, and then their accent is like on full display, and it's like, oh shit, you are British.
Okay, so this is an important topic. What actors were you the most surprised to find out that they weren't American? Besides Idris Elba.
I was just about to say Idris Elba, Tom Holland. It's a couple of other people, but they're not coming to the top of my brain. What's his name? I like him.
Rick Grimes. That one still shakes me to my core.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That, what's the name from The Walking Dead?
Andrew Lincoln. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that one shook me. That one shook me to my core.
God. Yes. What's his? I think it's Damson Idris. I think, what is his name?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that man is so fine. That man is he's so British. Fine.
I feel like British actors are really dope at nailing American accents. So you really don't know until it's time to interview them, and then you hear certain verbiage and tones, and I'm like, hold on.
I want to go to the grocery store, walk down the baking aisle, get a container of caramel. Place the container in a pot of hot water.
Oh my
God.
God.
The caramel gets super soft and easily pliable. I want to lay that man down on a bed, take his shirt off, and drop and coat his entire chest with the sweet, warm caramel sauce. And I want to remove it fastidiously with the tip of my tongue while he makes me call him daddy. Sorry.
You're a heathen. I got nothing. You're a heathen.
What are you talking about?
Now you went into a whole sexual fantasy.
But yeah, they hate that girl because she's black. Do you have another one, or should we talk about this nigga?
I got nothing after that.
I mean, that man is fine. I'm trying to think what I've seen him in other than... What was he in? He was in, wasn't he giving Chloe Bailey backshots in Swarm?
I didn't watch that. And I didn't watch Snowfall either.
You haven't seen, I haven't seen Snowfall, but you haven't seen Swarm?
No.
Okay, well, if you thought Saltburn was kind of wild, it's kind of along that same vein, but with the black girl.
Oh, nah. So now I'm really not finna watch your shit.
No, it's so good. It's so good. I watched the whole show twice.
Twice?
Did you not hear me when I said he's giving back shots?
What that mean? So you just gonna keep watching it? You fucking
listen. No, I didn't. I wasn't.
And I saw that scene, but jeez,
I have to completely ignore her. Like, I'm not turned on by him having sex. I'm turned on because he's shirtless and he's so good looking. But no, homegirl in Swarm is spying on Chloe Bailey having sex, who I think is her sister. So she's watching her sister get backshots by him. And it's the most realistic backshot scene I've ever seen in the history of movies. Like, I remember watching like a behind the scenes video of how they filmed that, and apparently there was like a balloon or something behind her ass, and he was just bouncing off the balloon or something.
Oh my God.
10 out of 10 best comedy in your life. But okay. So first of all, I'm not surprised. But on May 19th, hold on, let me go back a couple of days. So May 17th, 2 days ago, CNN, I'm trying to think how I can approach this. Okay. CNN posted a surveillance photo a few days ago, and the footage shows Sean P. Diddy Combs, that nigga, grabbing, shoving, dragging, and kicking Cassie in a hallway in public. It was filmed in a Los Angeles hotel, and it took place March of 2016, and 2 years before they broke up. And in the video, he is naked. He just has a towel around his waist. And in the video, she was attempting to leave with her stuff in an elevator, and he comes up and attacks her. And that was released. And then that was posted indiscriminately all over fucking social media, like people ain't got no home training. So cut to today, he released an apology video of him looking like he's someplace where extradition is not possible. He says, it's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. He goes on to say that he was disgusted when he did it. He feels disgusted now. He went out and sought professional help. He said he had to go to therapy. He said he had to go to rehab. He asked God for mercy. And he says he's truly sorry, but he's not even asking for forgiveness, are his words. Blah, blah, blah. And then Cassie's attorney said today, as a response to this video, that his speech, his statement was more about himself rather than the people that he hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that no one will, quote, be swayed by his disingenuous words. If only that were true.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked at the comments?
I don't want to, but I've already seen a lot of celebrities backing him, a lot of his celebrity peers backing him and standing by him. A lot of people saying, why does he still have the following that he has? Just, I guess, signifying that most people don't even seem to really care about what he did, and they'll still continue to follow and support him regardless. And I think that's one of the most disappointing outcomes of this. Because when she first said it, I believed that shit. I didn't need to see footage to believe that that's what took place. I don't need to see video footage to see that that's what transpired. But
also, how fast he settled was a fucking green flag.
That was true. That right there. Less than 24 hours later, he said, I'm like, yeah, whatever she said, he did that shit. Because that was too fake. You're not even going to try to defend yourself. You definitely did everything she said and probably then some. But I think that's the most disappointing thing of it all. Seeing this footage be posted so broadly all over the internet, no concern for anybody. Everybody's just posting it, looking for engagement on the internet. I've seen that video like 20 times because of it. And all of that just for people to still be supporting him and kissing his ass and encouraging that. And even I've seen people even going as far as using religion and religious speak to try to justify this.
What? Like, what you mean?
Like quoting Bible verses and, the devil this and the God that.
Like
and
what?
God
Spare the rod, spare the child? Like what?
No,
what
God will wrap his arms around you. These demons, just like a lot of random religion. Yeah, a lot of random religious talk. And niggas is quoting Bible. We
were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, I'm so tired of Black people who have been indoctrinated into Christianity, which has been used to make us subservient and docile for decades and centuries, utilizing an excuse of demonic spirits or the devil as an excuse for bad behavior or mental health issues. Like, it's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, just like, oh, he's dealing with his demons and the devil right now, and God will wrap his arms around you. And it's like, bro, what? Throw that nigga in jail.
When I saw the video, I think I saw the video on TikTok first, and I remember thinking, like, there's no way I'm watching this. Like,
they put it on TikTok?
Yeah, that's how it was probably on TikTok first.
Possibly.
But
yeah.
I remember watching it and like zooming in and being like, there's no way this is actually fucking P. Diddy in this video. Like, there's no way this video actually leaked. Because we haven't had, at least not that I recall, any videos leak of any major celebrity things like this since the elevator with Beyonce and Jay-Z and Solange, at least as far as I can think of. But I watched that video and I was just like straight faced, like, I was not surprised in the least. My heart went out to her. Like, it was disgusting to see, but it was just confirming something that I already knew. Mira, you probably have this as well. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the world have an intuition about them, and you can kind of sense what a person is like, rather by maybe you have heard things about their past behavior, maybe it's just a look in their eyes, maybe it's just their essence. But Diddy has always, since the moment I saw that man, come across to me as an abuser. And everything I've heard about him my entire life reinforces that fact. I genuinely was not prepared for the comments, though. I was not prepared to see, and I didn't even look for these comments, but some of the comments were like, what did Cassie do to make him this upset? Why did she release the video? What's her angle? What's her motive? Why would she do this? And I'm just like,
I think the most upsetting part is the statute of limitations. So they can't even do anything about that explicitly because it's so old, it's past the statute of limitations for that state. And I'm aggravated. And it sucks that when women are abused, attacked, and they experience these things, there's never any grace for them. It's always, what did she do to make him that mad? Or what did she? And it's like, you realize that you don't have to do anything if a nigga's abusive, right? You don't have to do anything. Or that the smallest, most insignificant things can trigger an abuser.
Even if, here's the thing that people don't realize, even if we all have to take accountability for our actions, right? Like, whether or not we say something that incites someone, there's an action that incites someone, like, we have to be accountable for our behavior. Whatever the case is, he is responsible for what he's in the driver's seat of what he does with his body. He, at the end of the day, is responsible for any and everything that he does. At the end of the day, we have to look in the mirror and take responsibility for the things that we do. And so I'm not entirely sure why the conversation always comes to what did the woman do, and particularly when we're talking about violence against Black women or dark skin or tan skin women who do not present as white. I'll just say that. Like, it's always a case of what did the woman do? I thought 50 Cent making a joke of it was very much on brand for his stupid ass.
He has abuse allegations of his own. He needs to shut the hell up.
I mean, I'm waiting for that documentary. You cannot tell me he ain't got something coming.
He does. Piece of shit.
The video, though, getting released, apparently Diddy paid $50,000 to obtain the security footage from the hotel, and that's why it didn't leak. I just also want to shine a light on some of the people that have been supporting Diddy during this time. Slim Thug, who quote said, "I don't want to see a Black man who came so far, almost to $1 billion, fall down. That's our inspiration. It ain't too many of us. They took Kanye down. We losing another billionaire over allegations. We only got one billionaire left. Who? Jay-Z? That's the only motherfucker left. How the So because somebody is Black and a billionaire and that's your fucking hero, he can't be held accountable. And I guess fuck Oprah, fuck Beyonce, fuck Rihanna, who are also Black billionaires because they're women.
Because they're women, yeah.
I can't imagine how Cassie feels. She might feel like a little bit vindicated, but again, there are still people out here who will make excuses, who will not unfollow, who will not block, who will continue to support. Uncle Luke, whoever the fuck that nigga is.
Stevie you don't know Uncle Luke? Oh my God.
I don't want to know.
Good.
Floyd Mayweather, Akon, Tyrese, all these men who are problematic and horrible as fuck in my eyes are the ones who have been staunchly publicly on record. Jason Derulo.
Not Jason Derulo, body rolling ass.
Erykah Badu.
Oh, that's
one of them. That's the one that hurt me.
Erykah Badu is the one that hurt my feelings. She been saying stupid shit for years, though. And he was talking about how years ago she said something about how young girls dress, something about young girls dressing to tempt men and shit like that. And ever since then, I've been good.
I want to just shine a light again, especially with like 50 Cent and all these other people using this as content. Again, we are clout chasing violence against women, just like we talked about last week. When we're talking about, Kendrick fucking rhyming pedophile and figuring out lyrics to rhyme with pedo, like we're trivializing, monetizing, and sensationalizing all these stories at the expense of women And I think it's deplorable and disgusting. And I hope I hope they find him. I hope they catch him. I hope they give him a real nice cellmate.
Oh my God.
Show him how to braid his hair. And I wish nothing but the worst for him. And that's the only story I got.
Honestly, same. Because I'm so over it. They will enable anything as long as you got some money and some money, power, and access. You got those things or one of those things, you can do anything and get away with it. I can only imagine the people that have been left in that man's path over the past 20 to 30 years. And I do feel like the people at the hotel, whoever accepted that money from him at that hotel needs to be charged. They need to get in trouble because it would also send out a message that when you enable this behavior out of greed, you get in trouble too.
Yeah, I think that's a crime. Like covering up a crime or hiding evidence.
I guess that's probably also still outside of the statute of limitation. They need to get in trouble too.
It's just been a sad week. I can't think of any good news that I heard of. I can't think of anything. Any shows you've been watching any shows at all? You still ain't watched Baby Reindeer, have you?
I did not. I was too busy finishing X-Men, and now I'm sad because I have no more X-Men to watch, and I gotta wait another year. No, I might watch it. I've been just watching people play it, but I haven't watched the show. Have you watched it? How you feel about it?
I watched an episode and a half. I love the first episode.
Okay.
And then I got to the point where all of a sudden I looked up and Michael Rappaport was on my screen. So I stopped watching it. So I'll never finish it.
Oh, well, damn.
I'll never finish it. All right. So that will do it for this week's Hot Topics. We will be right back with our main topic. I want to go to the, what's it called? The Globe, the Strobe in Las Vegas, that big ass screen.
That big dome piece shit they just put out there. Yeah, it looks nice.
I want to go there. It looks like it could ruin my anxiety though.
What?
You ain't seen how steep them seats is?
I did not. I just seen the outside of it and the advertisements and stuff with it, but I've never seen inside.
I think we should go.
That'd be dope.
So this week, you guys, we're going to be doing sort of a helpful / incredibly informative topic, shit that we wish we had known in our 20s. We have some advice, some things that we've learned, some little nuggets of knowledge that we feel you guys might be interested in. Do you want to start?
I will. Let's see. So things I knew in my 20s. It's a bunch of things that I wish I knew in my 20s, but if I have to start, I would say that it's okay to be by yourself, and this applies to romantic and platonic relationships. Block that man, block that person. If they're not doing you good, block that woman, block them if they're not doing right by you. And if you have, even with platonic relationships, if they're not doing right by you as well, get away from them. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to be by yourself. Isolation is fine. To a degree, because I'll talk about that later. But making sure that you are prioritizing yourself in your or prioritizing your well-being in your relationships and not letting, people take advantage. And I wish that I was better about that in my 20s, where I wish I was more liberal with my block button.
I will say, I think it's pretty cool how it's becoming more acceptable for women to take themselves out on dates and spend time by themselves. And it's not as taboo as it was even 5 years ago. I feel like COVID probably has something to do with that because everybody was kind of isolated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay to be single, right?
It's okay to be by yourself.
Okay, I'll go Neil.
Okay.
My first one is time. I cannot stress this enough. Time is the most important thing in the world. It's the most valuable thing in the world. And I wish I would have been a little bit more aware of that. You grow up and you hear people say you're gonna miss this when you're older. These are the greatest years of your life. And you hear that and you're like, yeah. But when I think about the times I wasted time trying to convince people to understand me, the times that I spent wasting trying to get people to like me or dealing with conflict with someone who when it doesn't matter, or staying up all night with anxiety about situations and how none of that shit matters anymore. I wish I would have focused more time developing who I am and doing more things that would have enriched my mind. Also, more traveling and experiences. I wish I would have used time more wisely. So, my advice would be if you're in your 20s, your teens, 30s, whatever, my advice would be, and this is very much like a do as I say, not as I do situation, because I don't think I use my time 100% as well as I could all the time. But there was a saying or like a rule that I heard a long time ago about how if you won't be thinking about something in the next 7 months, then you shouldn't even be spending 7 minutes on it.
Okay, banger.
And or I could have made that up and pretended like I heard it somewhere, but I don't know. But like I've taken that to heart lately because there have been so many times where I think about like I was very prone to getting panic attacks as a kid. I remember not even just a kid, let's say 21 years old, like really worrying about whether or not I was going to be able to, I don't know, go to a party, or if I was going to be invited to a party, or maybe something equally non-important. Like that's something that would not matter to me 7 months down the line. And I feel like so many times we spend time doing things that don't serve us, arguing with people online, getting involved in conflicts that don't involve us, like, I don't know, celebrity bullshit, Twitter drama, whatever it may be. And you will never get this time back. You will never be as young as you are right now. Kiss your family, appreciate your friends while you have them, take care of your body. But more importantly, be really, really conscious of how you spend your time. That's my first one.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, you got me with that. Because I spent a lot of time in my 20s prioritizing and focusing on other people when I should have been prioritizing and focusing on myself. And now in my 30s, I just turned 30, I'm seeing what the after effects of that looks like, prioritizing everybody and everything else. And having to like shed that and navigate that has been a lot.
Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of times the people that you're fooling with in your 20s, I'm not saying 100% of the time, but a lot of times those people will not be walking with you to your 30s. So just keep that in mind. If you feel like you're bending over backwards, you're shortening your lifespan, worrying and dealing with stuff. This is why I always say, like, break up with your partner if you're not happy, because you're wasting time. There's somebody out there who will do you better than this dude who treats you like a side chick, than this girl who only calls you when she needs money, whatever the case is. Like, don't waste time. But anyway, your turn, Mir.
I agree, but also, yeah, that brings me into my next one. Things I wish I knew in my 20s. Well, I get some fucking sleep. That's something I can't say I didn't know, because like my father drills that in my brain, and he's been drilling that in my brain ever since I was a teenager. But you know, you don't listen. You think, stop. I guess I'm trying to find the verbiage to like work through this, but I feel like sometimes we treat the neglect of ourselves and still being able to achieve and work through that as an achievement. For example, like I was able to do this, and you list all the achievements and all the things that you were able to do. And I did all of that on 3 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Some of us tend to wear that as a badge of honor when you shouldn't, and you shouldn't have to. Just go to fuck to bed. I wish I would just go to fuck to bed. So yes, if you're listening to this and you're somebody, literally number 2 is go to fuck to bed. Like, sleep is important. Like I said, my pops has been drilling that in my brain since I was a teenager, because he noticed my poor sleeping habits from very young. And he would always lecture me and tell me that I'm taking years off my lifespan when I don't sleep correctly. We've had this conversation for years, and it's only now I'm starting to feel the after effects and really see the true difference in how I see the world, how I view the world, how I work, how I operate, how I live, how I exist after getting proper sleep. So for my youngins, if you're listening to this, go to fuck to bed. The people will be there. You're not missing. Fuck FOMO. FOMO ain't shit. Go to sleep. You're literally not missing anything. You will see them people tomorrow. Go to sleep.
I have a quick question.
What's up?
You were talking about like accomplishments and stuff like that. Whenever you accomplish something, do you feel the celebration within that, or do you just feel like a mild sense of relief that it's done?
I feel the first one. Like I'm happy about it. And then I even feel extra proud if I did it on like a lack of sleep. Like if I, you know what I'm saying? if I know I'm operating at a deficit and I look back at it and I'm like, oh, I did good. Like I bodied that. And you mean to tell me I only got 2 hours of sleep last night and I did this. Like I used to feel good about that. And I'm like, no, that's not anything to be proud of. Go to bed.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like I could feel much better had I gotten some sleep.
Your accomplishments more when it comes through additional hardship.
Mm-hmm. I'm having to unlearn that.
I don't think you're alone in that. I was just asking because I saw someone talking about that. Like there's 2 different kinds of people in the world. People who, when something good happens to them or for them, they feel the celebration. And then there's another set of people when they accomplish something, they just feel like, all right, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the, all right, it's done category. Okay. My second one is no matter what, follow your intuition.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
I cannot tell you how many times I've had to learn this lesson of when you are faced with making a decision and you're on the precipice of deciding and you're weighing the positives and negatives and you're like, okay, well, this makes the most sense to my mind, but in your gut, in your heart, you're like, this is not the right decision. I've heard so many stories from people who have gotten married to people and they're like, man, the morning of my wedding, I knew not to marry this person. I knew not to go down that aisle, but I did it anyway, and I regret it. I myself, in particular, I bought my first home in 2020, in the height of COVID, and because everything was shut down, there wasn't a lot of like home showings. Apartments weren't really showing stuff. This was like summer 2020. Like everyone is freaking out. Protocols are high. And I remember I had to get out of my condo that I was in. And so I only got to look at 3 houses. And I bought the first one that looked halfway decent. And my intuition, the morning I signed my papers to buy my home, the one I'm currently recording this from, and my gut and my intuition, I knew this wasn't the right decision for me. When I was going to college, and I was leaving a college that had given me scholarships to go to a college that was giving me no financial aid. In my gut, I knew that this was not the right decision, and I did it anyway. When I think about some relationships I had and I ignored red flags, and I'm like, oh no, this person is just possessive and clingy because they really, really like me. It's not because, they're love bombing me or they're a narcissist. When I'm like, oh, well, this person just lied to me this one time, and they swore they would never do it again, and ignore my intuition. When I think back on my life, the times that I have any sort of regret are not the situations where I took a chance and it didn't pay off and it didn't work out in my favor. The only times in my life that I regret is when I felt in my heart that I was making the wrong decision because I felt pressure from some other external force. I went ahead and did it anyway. So this is what I would say. As you grow up, as you get older and experience more things, you start to understand yourself better. You learn things about yourself all the time. I mean, I've told y'all, I've learned so much about myself this year. That's why I'm going through it now. I'm just realizing a bunch of stuff. But whenever you have built that foundation of knowing who you are, you're able to make better decisions for yourself. So don't do things just because you feel like it's expected of you. Don't do things because you feel like your parents, your friends would disapprove of it if you didn't do what you really wanted to do. Trust me, you don't want to be 50, 60, 70 years old having to deal with the consequences of a decision because you didn't follow your gut. So that's mine. Follow your intuition.
Yeah. That's a big one, because every time I didn't follow my intuition, I promise you it bit me in the ass. And every time I did, the few times I did, I sat back and was like, wow, I really listened to my gut, and my gut was right about this person, this thing, this whatever. I'm like, wow, okay. I need to be better about that and be more in tune with self and listen to my gut more often. One thing I would say things we wish we knew in our 20s. For me, set firmer boundaries. This was something I came to the realization about not in my 30s, but in my later 20s when I learned about better boundaries and stuff like that. And I really sat with myself and I thought about all my relationships, personal relationships, work relationships, hell, even family relationships, and like gross crossing of personal boundaries and things like that I wish, you kind of just wish you knew. You can't really fault yourself if you don't know, right? But like, it's just some shit I just wish I knew. And it's like, damn, if I knew this was this then, I would have checked that then. If I knew this was this then, or it's like that, something in your gut or something telling you that you're uncomfortable with something, that's probably because a boundary is being crossed. And I guess that does go back to intuition and listening to yourself and knowing when it's like, no, this is a boundary that I set. I'm not okay with this. And, we could choose to move forward however we choose to move forward. But I need you to know, if you're going to deal with me in this capacity, this is something that I'm not good with. And that, I guess,
I was gonna say, we could do a whole episode on boundaries.
Yeah. When I came to those realizations in my late 20s, it was just a whole bunch of like putting foot downs, relationships ending left and right, all types of stuff. Cause I was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with that. Yeah. It's a lot of shit you tolerate when you don't know.
You can say what you want about Oprah, but she did popularize a really important saying of you teach people how to treat you. And that goes hand in hand with boundaries. And I feel like a lot of times when people have poor boundary drawing, I feel like it goes hand in hand with people pleasing. Would you say that you're a people pleaser or someone who was dealing with that, and that's kind of why you didn't have boundaries?
I would say younger me probably definitely was, and just learning about that and what that is and identifying that and being like, oh hell no, like what, trying to keep the peace can turn into that very easily. That you wouldn't even be thinking about it. It's just like, I'm trying to keep the peace. You stay over here, you stay over there, you know what I'm saying? But if you're not careful, it turns into that. And it also turns into fence straddling, which I hate fence straddling. I hate to say, I hate fence straddlers. I hate people that don't stand on anything so bad.
Say it.
I hate people that straddle the fence. So it was like, not one
a friend to everybody is a friend to nobody. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you don't stand on something, it's like, you gotta get the fuck from around me. So realizing that went hand in hand with that also was like a huge wake up call, because I'm like, I'm not that. I've always hated that, I can't stand people that don't know how to take a stance on anything and just would be silent and would rather try to be cool with everybody, be cool with everybody. You can't possibly be fucking cool with it. Matter of fact, I think people like that, I think they the motherfuckers that hate everybody low key.
Okay, we definitely need to revisit this in a separate episode, because you about to venture into a topic that I could go on for days. But we're gonna end that right there. But we need to make a mental note to do an episode about wishy-washy, boundary, straddling Switzerland as people.
Switzerland is diabolical.
I have very black and white thinking, so everything you said times a million is how I feel. I have zero respect for people who are impartial on almost any topic. My turn?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 I have is you are in charge of you. So I would say up until recently honestly, I don't think I fully started to grasp the concept of how you really are not necessarily all you have, but you were the majority of what you have. Mm-hmm. And in situations where you might be asking for a raise at your job and you're concerned about doing this because it might reflect poorly upon you, you might be seen as greedy, whatever it might be. Maybe in a situation where you're trying to come out to your parents and tell them that you're gay and, you're opening up about who your true self is. You are responsible for your medical health, your physical health, your spiritual health. What Mary was saying earlier about getting enough sleep and rest when you're restoring your body, your mental health, your mind. Like you literally, as you're sleeping, rebuild cells. And so I would sum it all up to say that you have to be your number one advocate. In situations where you are assuming that people would look out for you, don't assume that. I was very naive in my 20s. I always assumed that people would do what I would do in a situation. I'm like, well, I wouldn't steal this from somebody, so nobody would steal this from me. I wouldn't lie about somebody, so this person wouldn't lie about me. That's not how the majority of humanity works. So don't assume that the doctor who is telling you your diagnosis is always going to be looking out for your best interest, because he's not. They're not. Most times.
They don't give a fuck, yeah.
They don't give a fuck. A teacher, you might think that this teacher, because they have a position of authority over you, that they can do no wrong. I remember looking at my teachers as like the ultimate pillar of authority over me growing up, and how I couldn't disrespect them, and so on and so forth. When teachers are really just like any other fucked up adult. Your professor's just like any other fucked up adult. Everybody is fallible. Everybody. So if there's a situation, again, follow your intuition. If there's a situation and you have a niggling doubt, I cannot tell you how many times over the last 4 years where a person of authority, a police officer, a dentist, a doctor has told me something and I did not believe them. My gut told me something was off. And then I had to advocate for myself. I told y'all about how I was developing increasing pain in my toes earlier this year that had been going on for 8 or 9 months and being gaslit. And I had to advocate for myself and find out a solution separate of my doctor to get relief. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for your health. If you're having a baby, in that delivery room, especially if you're a parent and you have a little life relying on you, not only do you have to advocate for yourself, but you have to advocate for that little person who's growing up. I can't tell you how different I probably would have been had I seen an example of an adult advocating for me or seeing an adult advocate for themselves. I did not see an example of that growing up. And if you're like me, you didn't see that growing up. You just saw someone always kind of being like a punching bag, or you were always the person who had to kind of defend yourself when you shouldn't have been doing that. Do it now that you're an adult. Do it now. So that's my third one. Is advocate for yourself.
Damn, yeah, that's something I also had to let down. Yeah. I didn't even realize how,
especially as women, we don't really learn how to use our voice as little girls to advocate for ourselves.
Damn. And then especially at the fucking doctor's office, having to like realize when I was younger that like I'll go say something is wrong and the doctor will be kind of dismissive. He'll cast it to something else, or he won't focus on the problem at hand. He'll focus on something else or whatever the fuck he wants to focus on. Now I come back home, I have the same problem. It's like, well, why didn't you tell us like I did? And this is how he reacted. Well, you should have did this, this, and this. Why not get another doctor? Do this, do that. So that definitely, yeah, that's a big one. Jesus. I think for me, another one, a big one for me is listen to my 20-somethings, my youngins. Learn to accept help. Learn to accept help when it is given. You can't do everything. It is not humanly possible to do everything. That is very taxing on your mental and physical to try to take on and tackle everything. Learn to accept help. If someone is trying to help you, let them help you. Now, me personally, I've had my own issues when I've worked with people in the past. So it did kind of like push me back from working with people. I've had people offer to do things for me and insist that they don't want any money from it. When I said, hold on, let me pay you. And then turn around and turn on me later and say, I did all of this for free. And it's like, nobody asked you to do that, for one. And for two, offered to pay you. So dealing with things like that,
I feel like there's an argument not to ask for help.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that, and I'm explaining why for so long. And I had to remember that one or two isolated incidents doesn't reflect on everybody and everything. Because for a long time I was like that. Like I didn't want help. I didn't, and having to like get to the bottom of like why. And people would say one thing. I even see it happens to content creators. I see it happen to celebrities. When you're talking to somebody, they'll say one thing, and then the moment they get an attitude or things don't go in their favor, they try to flip it on you as if it's some type of like abuse of power or some type of, and it's like, no, you asked to do this thing. I said, okay. Or I said no until I could do this. You insisted, or, just learning that like, it's okay to get help and everybody doesn't have ill intentions, and allowing yourself to, I guess it takes a level of vulnerability though, too. And I don't know how many people have that vulnerability to allow themselves to be helped or assisted with things. But I know me personally, I had problems even before the scenarios I explained. I had issues with that for years, like just allowing myself, I guess, to be vulnerable enough to even say that I need help. So if you are like that, please don't be like that. Figure out why and get to the bottom of that.
You're talking to me directly. Just add me next time.
I mean, yeah, get to the bottom of why.
I know why. Here's the thing. I want to pick your brain.
Okay.
So for me, the reason why I don't ask for help is twofold. One, I don't want to be a burden. That goes back to childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. Number two, I don't trust anybody to help me. And I don't necessarily mean like Mira, like I was like, Mira, yo, I need help with something. It's not that I don't trust you to do it for me necessarily. Mm-hmm. I don't trust people to do it like in a way that would be acceptable to me. And that's part of like me having like a perfectionist issues, but then also having history of being consistently let down when I have given people that opportunity. So my question to you is, how would someone get over feeling like asking for help was a burden in particular? Because I just feel like even just calling someone when I'm having a rough time, I'm just like, I feel tremendous guilt afterwards that I inconvenienced them in that way by needing to like get advice or having someone listen, like even something as simple as that.
I just feel like you have to ask yourself kind of like, why do you see yourself or that as a burden? Is it that I feel like if you are my friend and we're cool, or you are my person, your family, you claim to care about me asking for help or just, asking. If in my mind I'm saying, oh, I'm going to be a burden, ask yourself why. Does this person have, ill intent? Do you feel like this person is your person or the person for you, whether it's friendship, relationship, whatever? But yeah, no, that definitely is something also with perfectionism too, because I had to fight through that and I had to understand that because I was like that for years. And I had to understand everybody's not going to do everything how I would. And I got to be okay with that and stop being so particular about things, because it can be very, very, very taxing on your mental and physical when you're trying to control and mediate every single situation, every single thing that's happening and trying to control how you can't. It's not humanly possible.
So I do have another question. I feel like I'm like an alien from outer space reading about human behavior when I'm asking this question. Okay. I struggle with knowing what's an appropriate amount of help to ask for and to receive. Because again, I'm not trying to make it seem like woe is me, but I don't have experience with, up until, I can only think of like very few instances, one in particular involving you, where someone offered help unsolicited and I received it. And it was a good thing.
And I had to fight you to receive that. It's a fucking fight you.
Yeah, it felt, I was so uncomfortable. I was like, if this is the last thing I do, I'm gonna make sure like we're square eventually. But I don't have experience with receiving help. So now it's like, I'm looking around and like, I want to ask you, like, when is it appropriate to ask for help? Like, how much help is too much help? Because like in my mind, something like, let's say you went to a doctor's appointment and having a friend ask you to pick you up from the doctor's appointment because like, let's say you're going to be drugged and they require you to get a ride home. Something like that seems like an astronomical thing of me to ask someone. And so I don't trust my calibration of what is I'm so serious. Like, I don't have a concept.
The friend should be the first person that you think of. If you're my friend and say I gotta get, I gotta go under the needle or whatever the fuck. I gotta do something that they require me to be asleep or drugged. And I'm the first thing, especially like if I can't call family, if I don't have a partner, the first person I would be thinking of is a friend. You're my friend, right? You could come get me as long as I know that you're like not at work. The first line of who I would think of is my friend.
So I was going through my text message history yesterday from texts from last year. Just a little, I was looking for someone's phone number. You know who I was looking for. And I was going through and I found a text message history that I had with an Uber driver. And the text message history was me asking this stranger to pretend to be a family member of mine so they could pick me up from a doctor's appointment, because I would rather pay someone and make someone pretend to be a family member
than to just
than
ask the actual.
Yeah.
Ask family or friends?
Either. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, my mind is messed up. I don't understand help. I don't understand.
That could have been very dangerous, Sadie's. That is extreme.
No, I did it.
No, I know. But that's
no, I mean, like, this person literally picked me up and pretended.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I know you went through it, but I'm like, that is dangerous.
Okay. That's something I have to work through, I guess, when I get a therapist.
Yeah.
Okay, well, number 4. My fourth one actually is not going to be a long one. My fourth one is life ain't fair. I remember all throughout my 20s, believing in karma, believing you get what you put out in this world. And I'm not saying don't believe in that. I'm not saying don't believe the good in people. I'm not saying not to believe in do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that, how can I say this without sounding like a completely disenchanted millennial?
Damn.
Good doesn't always get you far. Being a good person, always doing the right thing, does not necessarily mean that you're going to get it back in return, unfortunately. Just because you're a good person and you do the right thing doesn't mean that, like, everything's going to work out for you and life is going to be good. I would encourage you to do that anyway, to be a good person. But I remember it was such a wake-up call when I slowly realized this over my 20s, that you could be the nicest, kindest person, never do anything to anybody, and you think it's all going to pay off, and it might pay off for you, but life is not fair in that way. So you might see people around you who get promotions because they suck up to the boss better than you. Maybe, you get an internet scam put on you and whatever else is going on. And I know for me, it was really a hard pill to swallow. I was like, well, if I don't do anything bad to anybody, then nobody's going to do anything bad to me. Wrong. That is not how life is. So that's my number 4. Life.
Sometimes it make you a target.
especially that. And if you're someone who is on the spectrum in particular, you're an easier target for people who are narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths. But regardless, that was my number 4. Life ain't fair. And also, I don't believe in karma no more, but you can if you want.
Damn. Yeah, no, I would if so many bad people in the world weren't constantly and continuously rewarded. That actually takes me back to the whole cancellation conversation and the cancel culture bullshit, and why I don't believe cancel culture is a thing for most. Because there's so many people who they claim, oh, this person is canceled. And it's like, canceled where? They get canceled right into the next tax bracket. They get canceled into a bigger movie deal, a bigger sponsorship, a bigger bag. Like, that's not rewarding people with money and bigger opportunities is not canceling anything. But I think my last one, for my young folks, things that I wish I knew in my 20s. The last thing I wish I knew in my 20s was to stop worrying so fucking much. And it's something that I still navigate with now, but it could be worried about anything, worried about finances, worried about how you're perceived, worrying about what's going on. You gotta just exist and do what you gotta do and know that things are gonna be all right. Because worry, depending on the person, can be debilitating, and you don't want that. You don't want your worrying to interfere with your life. You don't want your worrying to interfere with your experiences. You don't want worrying and anxiety to interfere with being your best self and developing into your best self. So if you are a worry wart, try to get to the bottom of it. Try to do what you can to figure it out, because like she said earlier, the people you walk through with your 20s, you're probably not going to carry into your 30s. And like, my partner always tell me, like, you get in your 30s, or none of this shit is going to matter. He always is like, you get into your 30s, all this shit, that shit is, you not going to care about none of that shit. Why are you even, a lot of this shit is irrelevant, and it's not worth your time. And we talked about the importance of time. It's not worth spending that time worrying and dwelling on it.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. My last one is realizing and living in the moments that life is in the moments. Life, I feel, is simultaneously the most complicated, but also the most simple thing. Our brains are hardwired to always seek out obstacles, always seek out challenges, any possible threats. It's scientifically proven. Our brains, for most of us, have a hard time being settled. Whenever we are at a plateau or maybe we've accomplished something, our brain automatically moves on to the next thing. Like, oh my gosh, I really, really want to get a Mercedes Benz. We get that Mercedes Benz. Are we happy? Are we done wanting other things? No, we want more. We work towards that. We lose those 10 pounds, the 10 pounds that we've been trying to lose since college. We lose that 10 pounds. Are we happy? No, we want to lose 15 at that point. So much of life is about a struggle. So much of life is about worrying and trying to attain more, about wondering what could happen, ruminating over what did happen. I had a really startling realization a couple of months ago. I was in my kitchen. It was nighttime. I think I was cooking and the day had been okay. Nothing had happened. And I found myself dancing. I was making spaghetti. It looked like a fucking Diane Keaton movie. I was dancing around my kitchen, making pasta, listening to music that made me happy, smiling. And as I was going around like my kitchen island, I had a feeling of like, this is life. These small moments, these pockets of nothing in particular, but just being content. At that moment, I wasn't worrying about my bills. At that moment, I wasn't worrying about relationships. I was just content in that moment. And I remember telling myself, Mercedes, don't forget that this right here is what we're talking about when we're talking about life, just like this simple moment. And so that's what I try to keep in mind, is that life encompasses all these valleys and hills and these challenges and these successes. But honestly, those moments in between, those are the ones that I really sit down and want to cherish. So that's my number 5, that life is in the moments. And that's my last one.
That's super important. Put your damn phones down, too.
Put your damn phones down.
Put them damn phones down. They're not going to listen.
So that'll do it for this week's topic. Things that we wish we knew in our 20s. Do you have anything that you want to be pretty or petty about this week?
I got something to be pretty about. I'm excited because I'm getting ready to go to this Megan concert on Tuesday. And
Stallion?
Yes. I'm excited because I think this is my first fucking concert.
Why are people saying that to me so often?
Yeah, this is my first concert. Like,
it's wild.
I've seen performances, but I don't consider going to the club and seeing rappers perform at the club, or like I've been to 106 in Park. But I don't consider those concerts. So this is my first time going to an actual concert. I didn't seen J. Cole and Khaled, like a couple of like rappers and like singers over the years, but first concert. Because for years, thanks to Ticketmaster, niggas had all the opportunity and no money, and you get money and you don't have the opportunity, or you get the opportunity and the money. And I look at them Ticketmaster prices and I'm like, hell no, y'all need to stop upselling tickets. So for years, I've never been. So this is my first time going and I'm super excited about it. It's on Tuesday. And yeah, yay, I'm going to go shake some ass.
My first concert was Warped Tour, I think. Do you know what Warped Tour is?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Warped Tour was a collection of like 100 bands that would travel to every state in America.
Oh.
And it went on for years. We're talking like Blink-182, Green Day, like that kind of time period. Yeah. So that was my first one. So I've been going to concerts for like 20 years or something wild like that.
That shit looks like that's so many goddamn people.
Yeah. And I was a baby too. I wasn't even old enough to drive when I went. So yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
Pretty or petty this week. I'm not really in the mood to be petty. I feel like I've been petty this whole episode. So I guess I would just say be kind to yourself. And again, this is definitely a do as I say, not as I do situation. Be kind to yourself. I feel like a lot of us out here, actually, no, I'm going to be petty just a little bit. everyone is going through shit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should give people the benefit of the doubt more and be a little bit more gracious. I've seen a lot of people lately get put on blast for stuff, for minor things. People are getting villainized. I saw a video the other day that had like over 2,000 comments because this lady went on a roller coaster with her son, and people were condemning her and saying she's a horrible mother because she was on a roller coaster with her son, and the seat bar came up,
Mm-hmm.
and she was recording next to him. And so in the video, when the seat bar comes up, she freaks out, she drops the phone, but you can still hear a little bit, and she's holding onto her son, keeping him from falling out. He couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of vitriol and people who are condemning this woman and demanding that her kid be taken away is insane.
That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I'm seeing this more and more of people making these. And in this case, she didn't even really make a mistake. But people who are genuinely making small mistakes, and people are just giving them death threats and just being horrible, and just consider what could possibly be going through somebody's life, what they could have experienced. Have a little bit more compassion and grace for people is what I would say. And that's all I would say for this week. But that'll do it for this episode of the Pretty Patty podcast. If you would like to, I didn't even check the email this week. Did you check?
I did not. Well, I did a few days ago. I didn't see anything.
But if you'd like to know anything about us, if you'd like to ask us any questions, any topics that you'd like us to cover, write to us at the Pretty Petty Podcast. I'm sorry, the Pretty Petty Pod at gmail.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. Anything you want to plug in particular this week, Miriam?
Follow me, X Mirror Mirror. I'm everywhere. I'm on Twitch talking shit. I'm on Twitter talking shit. I'm on Instagram posting pictures and posting stories talking shit. We playing Supermarket Simulator. They beating my ass in Supermarket Simulator right now. It's a fun time. Come stress me out and let's talk about life. X Mirror Mirror.
Yes. And I finally uploaded that video to my beauty channel. That was really cool. So if you want to follow my beauty content creator journey, you can find me on YouTube at Mercedes. And that's about it. Y'all have a good week. All right. Bye.
Bye.